Hi guys, and welcome to lesson 36. Today we are graphing linear equations that have perpendicular lines. Now in lesson 37 you learned how the slope affects lines that are parallel. If we have the same slope, we have a parallel line. In this lesson we're going to be learning how the slope affects perpendicular lines. Okay? Before we do that though, we need to do a review on what reciprocals are, because they are very important to this lesson. So a reciprocal is basically when you flip the numerator and the denominator of a number. So I have 2/3. The reciprocal of 2/3 would be 3/2. We basically just swap their positions. Okay? If I have -1/3, it would be -3/1. If I have -4, that would become, we just make that into 4/1, and I would swap it like that. Okay? Does that make sense? So we just flip the numerator and the denominator to make a reciprocal. Okay? All right. Now, when we're working with linear equations like this, and we're working with perpendicular lines, we're working with reciprocals. We're also going to be working with, it's the negative reciprocal, okay? So let me show you that. I'm just going to add another color here. So the negative reciprocal would just be the opposite. So here, this is a positive number, so this would be negative. This is a negative number, so this would be positive. This is a negative number, so here this one is positive. Okay? Negative reciprocal, so it's basically the opposite. So first find the reciprocal, then stick in the opposite sign, and then you'll have your negative reciprocal. Okay, so I am going to erase this to give us some more room. Let you take another little peek at that. Okay. Okay, so here is our example. We have y equals 2x and y equals -1/2x. We have 2, +2, and -1/2. These are definitely negative reciprocals of one another. Okay? Let's see what they look like when we graph them. I have x and y. I'm just going to choose 0 and 1 again. If I put in a 0 here, 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 1 is 2. And I'm going to do 0 and 2 on this one. -1/2 times 0 is 0. And then 2 times -1/2, I'll do it over here so it's easier to see. So that's the same thing as 2/1. That cancels out. That gives me -1. Okay? So for this point, I have 0, 0. And I have 1, 2, which puts that point right there. And that's y equals 2x. I'm going to write my equation there so I know which line this is. Okay, my next line is 0, 0, and then 2, -1. All right. So now I'm going to put this through here. Okay, and you can see that they do cross. And if we were to measure this, this would be a right angle. It's a 90-degree angle. Okay? So they're perfectly perpendicular. I want to check in my book here to see. Okay. So that's what the graph looks like. Now I'm going to go over some of the problems that they give you in the book. Okay? They want to know things like, what is the negative reciprocal of -4? So the first thing you're going to do is find the reciprocal of 4. The reciprocal of 4 is 1/4. Whole numbers always have a 1 underneath them, So the reciprocal is just the fraction 1 over 4. And then we want the opposite of negative. So positive 1/4 is the negative reciprocal. Okay? What about 1 over 7? Well, the reciprocal of 1 over 7 would be 7 over 1. And since this is positive, I want this to be negative. So my reciprocal would be negative 7. Okay? And I'll do the last one as well. They have negative 6 over 11. So I would come over here, I would go 11 over 6. I'm just going to swap these, right? And then I want the opposite sign. So that would be positive 11 over 6 would be the reciprocal. Okay? All right. Now what they want to do is, now that you know how to find your negative reciprocal, we're going to use our slope-intercept form to see if two equations have perpendicular lines in their graph. So we don't even have to graph it, we just have to know what the slopes are. So I have y equals 4x plus 7, and y equals negative 4x plus 3. It's already in slope-intercept form, so this is going to be easy. Okay, so first thing I do, I find my slope. This is 4, this is negative 4. So I'm going to ask myself, are they reciprocals? No, they're not. So right there, they failed the first test. They are not reciprocals. So no, these lines are not perpendicular to one another because the slopes are not negative reciprocals of each other. Okay? Let's try the next one. We have y equals 2/3 x plus 5 and y equals 3/2 x plus 2. Are these lines going to be perpendicular? Well, let's take a look. Are they reciprocals? We've got one. They are reciprocals. Yay! They passed that test. Are they opposite? Nope. This one's positive and so is this one. So it fails that test. So we would say, no, these lines are not going to be perpendicular because the slopes are not negative reciprocals of each other. Okay? And then I'll do one more. Let me erase these. All right. Here we have one just like we did on the other one, where we have 3/5 x plus y minus 1 equals 0. And we have 5/3 x minus y minus 3 equals 0. So we want to know, are these going to be, are they going to have the same slope, or I'm sorry, are they going to have negative reciprocal slopes? Well, what we need to do, the first thing we need to do is put it in the point or the slope-intercept form, okay? Which looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. That will make it very easy for us to see, okay? I'm going to start with this one down here. I see here's my y. It's negative, so I'm just going to add y to both sides. And that'll just make that so easy. So that gives me 5/3 x minus 3 equals y. And here is my slope, 5/3. Okay. I'm going to come up here to this one. And I see here's my y. And it's already positive, so I'm going to leave it on that side. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 3/5 x, and I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And that cancels that out, and that cancels that out. So that gives me y equals negative 3/5 x plus 1. So here's my slope. So this slope is negative, well, let's see, are they reciprocals? This is 3/5 and that's 5/3. We found one that matches. Good. Okay, so it matches. Now let's look at the signs. This one is positive, and this one is negative. It passed the second test. So yes, these two lines are going to be perpendicular because we have negative reciprocals for the slopes. So our answer for this one is yes. Why? The slopes are negative reciprocals. Okay? And that's it for this lesson. Thanks, bye.